So Universal's new park in Orlando, Epic Universe, is set to open in 2023. And based on the concept art given to us by Universal, many people have speculated that the 4 lands that would open with the park would be Super Nintendo World, Universal Classic Monsters, How to Train Your Dragon, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And today I will try and speculate about and compile the rumors about this land and what not only I, but as well as other people think this land could possibly be. So, let's get started, shall we? So based on the architecture we see in the concept art here, we can definitely tell that this is a European nation we're dealing with here. Definitely is not the America that we saw in the first Fantastic Beasts film. This is definitely either going to be Paris, which we saw in the second film, or London, which we're going to see in the third film. Now, most people, myself included, have erred on the side of Paris, as we already do have a London section, even if it is pretty small, in Universal Studios Florida outside of Diagon Alley. So even if this was London and it would be pretty different given the time period the movie takes place, we probably don't need another London section in Universal Orlando's resort. That being said, Paris has obviously not been seen in Universal's resort and is definitely a worthwhile location to visit. As for the other side of the argument, being the people who think it's going to be London, many people think that because Crimes of Grindelwald did so bad that no one's going to want to go to see Paris, and Universal recognizes that and wouldn't build the land based on that movie that nobody really cared about. But I suppose time will only tell which one ends up being right. Another thing we can see from the concept art is that the land is split into 2 sections, one being an outdoor section and the other one being a completely indoor section. Although this concept art is probably not to scale, we can definitely see that this indoor section is absolutely massive, which most likely means that this show building is not just for a ride, but is in fact for a part of the land where people can walk around in. People who think the land is going to be themed to Paris think this is going to be the Paris Ministry of Magic inside here. We only see the ministry for a little bit in the Crimes of Grindelwald movie, but it does look pretty cool, and I don't think that anyone would have any problem walking through that location. The people who think the land is going to be themed to London think this is going to be the British Ministry of Magic, which of course we've seen in many Harry Potter movies, and has proven to be a very iconic location over the years. Now, there have been rumors for many years that they were going to build a Ministry of Magic where Fear Factor Live is right now in Universal Studios Florida, since we do have the London section there already. But obviously, as you can tell, that never ended up coming to fruition and has been shelved. So to see the British Ministry of Magic here wouldn't be too unbelievable. That being said, people on both sides of the Paris and London argument can agree that there's going to be a Ministry of Magic themed dark ride in this land. Although nobody really has a straightforward idea of what exactly this ride would entail, people on the Paris side of things have speculated that the ride would use this technology that Universal patented a while ago that would essentially allow your cart to go through the Flu network and travel between locations. The idea being that the ride would take you through several Ministries of Magic, so across the globe, eventually landing you at the British Ministry of Magic, where the ride would end and guests would actually exit into the British Ministry of Magic. So essentially, by using the Flu network, Universal can have its cake and eat it too by having the land themed to Paris and having the Paris Ministry of Magic, but also having the British Ministry of Magic being accessible via the Flu network. So after you exit the ride and you end up in the British Ministry of Magic, you just take the Flu network out and you're back in Paris. If you want to go to Paris straight to the British Ministry of Magic, you can do that, take the Flu network. There you go. Now, of course, people on the London side of the argument haven't really made that same argument because they believe that the Paris Ministry of Magic is not worth seeing. So even though, yes, maybe in the ride we'll travel to it, it's not going to let out the Paris Ministry of Magic, and we're only going to see the London one because that's the iconic one. And that's the reason why we do see the Paris people making that argument that we need to end in the British Ministry of Magic because that is the iconic location. Of course, if Universal does, for whatever reason, plan on making the Ministry of Magic in the Fear Factor Live plot at some point, then obviously they probably won't go ahead with this. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, another thing about the ride that a lot of people don't seem to agree on, surprisingly, is the antagonist of the ride. Similar to Escape from Gringotts, where our antagonist is Voldemort and Bellatrix, you would think that the antagonist of this ride would be Grindelwald. However, many people disagree, and they think that we're not going to have a true antagonist on this ride. And I suppose that could definitely work. When you look at Forbidden Journey, there's no real antagonist on that ride. There are several creatures and villains that we encounter, but there's no true antagonist of the ride. But if you had to ask me, I do think Grindelwald is going to show up in this ride, and that's mostly because, really, if you're given the opportunity to get an actor like Johnny Depp, in one of your rides, you don't say no, right? Like, I mean, to get that big of a name in one of your rides, I think is definitely going to be very helpful and something that Universal will not turn down. On top of that, why would you not want to get like the actual actors to play their parts in the roles? I mean, we saw how tremendously awkward that was when, you know, Emma Watson doesn't voice her own character in Escape from Gringotts. So
They know we're imposters. They set off defenses against us.
we do want Grindelwald in here. We do want Johnny Depp in here. It's going to make the story a whole lot more believable, a whole lot more immersive, and I think the ride and the land will just bear off with it having Grindelwald than with it not having him. And on that note, since they're going to have access to all these actors while they're filming either Fantastic Beasts 3 or Fantastic Beasts 4, obviously they're going to get access to all our main characters, Newt and the whole gang, as well as I think Jude Law for Dumbledore, and I think we'll see all these characters across not only this ride, but as well as the other ride in the land. The other ride people are speculating to be in this land is a ride themed to Newt Suitcase, where essentially we just travel into a suitcase and explore the many creatures and lands that exist within. I mean, this attraction seems like a no-brainer given how cool it would be to not only ride something going through a suitcase, but even just to walk through a queue going through a suitcase, I think would be really cool. I mean, we've seen how detailed this suitcase and the inner workings of it are in the movie. Imagine how detailed they can make it in a theme park ride. I mean, it's just... Don't even get me started, man. Like, this is probably one of those hyped up attractions, for me at least, that could be in the park. Honestly, if Universal decide to make this just like a walkthrough attraction, not even a ride, I would have no problem with that. Basically have it be a zoo where we just get to walk through and see the exhibits with all these magical creatures in them. Obviously, it'd all be like animatronics and stuff like that. I would have no problem with that. I think that would be still extremely cool. Another reason why I think this ride is just so obvious for Universal to do and so easy for them to do is because when you get out of the ride, you gotta have a gift shop. And obviously people are going to want to buy stuffed animals and merch and whatever else with these Fantastic Beasts all over them. And you're going to make bank on that, Universal. So I'm telling you, you got to do this ride or at least have a ride with the Fantastic Beasts in them. You'd obviously be missing out on some major profits. And you know what? While we're on the subject of a gift shop, let me throw out the idea of maybe a meet and greet with some of the Fantastic Beasts. Obviously, we know J.K. Rowling is not going to allow us to meet and greet with anyone like Newt or any of the main characters. That's not going to happen. But we could definitely get some meet and greets with the Fantastic Beasts themselves. Now, whether that be with a animatronic Niffler or a guy in a giant Thunderbird suit, I think either would be really cool. I mean, obviously in the case of the Thunderbird thing, think of like the raptor encounter they have at Islands of Adventure. I think that would probably be what you're looking at there. And then the Niffler, look at Baby Groot or BB-8 from Disney. I think that's probably what they could do there. Speaking of major profits, I do think that there is one other thing in this land that maybe hasn't been speculated as much as the rest of this, but I think still deserves to be talked about. That being Kowalski's Bakery. Now, I know this is located in America, so how in the world are we going to get to Paris? I'll tell you, it's called a franchise. That's right, Kowalski has built another location in Paris, and we get to go to his bakery even though the land is themed to Paris. Easy fix. I guarantee you that not only is this going to be a smash hit for Instagram, but you get to sell those products, those pastries, which look like the Fantastic Beasts, and you know people will buy those up at a premium. So Universal, here you go, free idea for you. And you know what, while we're on the subject of the outside portion of the land, let me bring up a couple more suggestions, let's say, for this part. So I can tell, obviously, that this part's probably supposed to be like the Muggle world of Paris, so we probably shouldn't expect to see too many Fantastic Beasts out in this section, but I do think it would be fun to have maybe some hidden Easter eggs or hidden Mickeys, if you will. Yeah, I know that's blasphemy here at Universal, but I would love to see some Fantastic Beasts kind of hidden and maybe up in the windows, up in the rafters, wherever in the sewers, something like that people can maybe go around and find throughout the land. And you know what? Chances are they're going to have interactive wand sections throughout this land as well. So chances are, do an interactive wand. Oh, look, there's Fantastic Beasts hiding behind the bookcase. Something like that, you know. And this one, this is my last idea, but this might be probably the biggest stretch, and that's having a street show kind of themed to that carnival/circus thing we saw in Crimes of Grindelwald. That would be cool, but obviously that might be taking it a step too far to have that just exist in the Muggle realm, but we'll see. I think that would be very cool if they did something like that. And I just want to end it on this. Even if you don't like Fantastic Beasts, you think Harry Potter's better, you don't like the spin-off franchise, fine. But you know what? It's going to be a spectacular theme park land, regardless if it's Paris or London or Africa, who knows. This is going to be a spectacular land, and I can't wait for it to open up in 2023 with the rest of Universal's new park, Epic Universe, and I can't wait to see you there. If you have any of your own speculations or thoughts about Fantastic Beasts in Epic Universe, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And with that being said, see you all next time. Peace.